Happy Friday, everyone. We're going to close out the week with a six-rounder triplet. It's going to be a good time. Before we get to the triplet, let's talk about our work set. Our warm-up is going to consist of dynamic triangle with 3 to 5 aside, good morning with 3 to 5, single leg good morning with rotation with 3 to 5 aside, and plank to down dog, 3 to 5 per side. Or sorry, 3 to 5 reps, we'll say. Nice chance to work on opening up the hamstrings, getting some rotation. Again, also a really good opportunity to help open up those shoulders a bit after yesterday's floor press adventure. So please keep this in mind. Take your time. It's going to really tap into that whole body with rotation plus upper and a little bit of hamstring love. So 1 to 2 rounds. If you're feeling a little stiff and sore today, take 2 rounds. Give yourself that extra love. It doesn't take very long to burn through. So see how that feels. Move nicely and smoothly. After that, we're going to move into some stuff that's going to kind of get us ready for the work set. We have a deadlift of 3 to 5, laying L sit of 20 to 30 seconds. Then we're going to move into a step up with the dumbbell standing march, either one. So if you do not have something to step up on, you can rock that standing march just to get those quads ready to go, get those legs fired up, and then we'll chat about what we can replace that with later on. Weighted deadbug for 6 to 10 alternating. Again, a really nice opportunity to heat up the hip flexors and the core while kind of just really balancing with the pelvis a little bit. 2 to 3 rounds is going to get you fired up, ready to go. And then we have our work set. So our work set is 6 rounds, 6 V-ups or V-up variation, 9 deadlifts, and then 12 box jumps or box jump variations. So we'll talk about some different stuff there if you don't have access to a box, and we'll make sure you're solid and ready for action. So let's get you ready, let's get you warm to take this thing on. All right, let's get you moving a little bit. Let's get those feet under the hips. We'll take the arms big and tall up overhead. We'll stretch it to one side. Stretch it to the other side. We'll come back up. We're going to take it all the way down to the floor. Touching those toes. We're going to walk up those shins all the way down to the floor, framing the foot. We're going to step back into our lizard. Nice and slow with this. Our hips are square. We're going to lower the knee. Press the hip. Come back through, straighten the leg, and straighten that front leg. From there, we're going to come down, lowering the back knee, pressing the hip, back to center, straighten the leg, straighten the front, planting the foot, lowering the knee, press the hip, center, straighten, and straighten. We'll plant that foot, step back into our down dog, reaching those hips nice and long, setting those shoulders, just going to walk those heels out. Just giving them a little bit of love after yesterday's skipping adventure. Wake up those feet a bit. We're going to come back into our plank, stepping that other foot up, squaring up those hips, again lowering the knee, gently press the hip, come back through, straighten the leg, straighten out that front leg, plant and lower, press the hip, center, straighten, straighten, planting the foot, lower, press the hip, center, straighten, and straighten. Plant the foot, step back into that down dog again, setting those shoulders again, just working on keeping those feet square, wake up those feet a bit, fire up those legs, and we'll come back into our plank, tiptoeing those feet up. We'll roll ourselves all the way up. Big stretch. Big reach. Big reach. Okay, and we'll come down with those arms. Whew. Let's get you fired up and ready to go. So, if you have any extra movement you like to take down that's a little gentler, you want to take down a little thread the needle, cat-cows, just anything you got to take down on your own, please pause the video, take it down. We're going to get you squared away with that first phase, which is going to work a lot of rotation and a little bit of hamstring love. All right, our first phase of work is going to kickstart off with some dynamic triangles. So we're going to kickstart off with our feet in our sumo stance. I'm going to turn one toe directly to the side, the other toe on a nice angle. So my hips are open on an angle. I'm going to bring one hand to the thigh. I'm going to take the other arm up to the ceiling. I'm going to draw the hip back into that nice hinge. Slowly tracing down my shin, and I'm going to slowly come back up, keeping that arm up to the ceiling. So we want to make sure that our focus here, besides being overhead the entire time, is that initiation through the hip. So we're hinging at that hip to get that body hinged first. We're not just bending over. We're trying to create space in that side body. So really take the time to maintain that overhead and really get that good hinge in as we work through that dynamic triangle. Once we've done 3 to 5 per side, slow and steady, we're going to move into a good morning. And the good morning can take place in your sumo stance, squat stance, hip width stance, toes together, nice and close. I'm going to demonstrate with my feet in my hip width stance, and I'm going to turn profile so you guys can see where my hips are going. So my toes are slightly turned out, just like if I was going to do a deadlift. I'm going to get a nice little hand reference, so I'm going to get my hand to my chest, hand to my rib, and from here, I'm going to set my ribs, and I'm going to draw my hips back at that hip crease. So getting that body kind of moving down to about a 90 degree at the furthest, and then I'm going to stand up nice and tall. So I'm not trying to go beyond that 90 degree position, because I'm trying to keep nice tension on the hamstrings the whole time. If I can't get to that 90 degree, and I'm like, oh, that's about where I'm good, at about a 45, then take it to that 45. Our key here is working on that long spine position and that really good touch with the hamstrings, so really feel those hammies. Now, if you don't feel your hamstrings, we want to make sure we're engaging those glutes just a bit to keep that pelvis neutral. And then as we pull back, I want you to think about pulling your hips to the back of the room. So wherever that happens to be. You could even set yourself up in front of a wall somewhere and try and touch your hips to the wall to make sure that we're not just bending over at our spine, but we're actually hinging at our hip crease. So a couple things you can play with if you struggle with that good morning or that hinge pattern. That's a really good tool using the wall. From there, we're going to move into that same hinge pattern with a single leg. So we're going to work through our single leg good morning with rotation. So I'm going to work on keeping my hips square in that single leg position. Hands are going to come to the center, drawing the hip back, rotating towards that lean knee, and then coming back up nice and tall. So with that hinge, it's the same hinge I just practiced with the good morning. It's a little more challenging to keep those hips square with the single leg. I really want to take that at speed that I can focus on that nice square hip, and then I'm going to rotate at that low rib. After we've done 3 to 5 per side there, we want to focus in on our plank to down dog. So we're going to open up our upper back. So I'm going to get myself down into my plank position, my feet together or slightly apart. My hands are just outside the shoulders, so I'm going to push the floor away a bit and pull the ribs in. So I'm really trying to establish a strong plank first. I'm going to pull my hips back, softening my knees and ankles a bit, so I can really focus on that hip angle. My armpits are pointing towards my thighs, and I keep that good strong overhead as I come through, pushing the floor away to maintain that nice plank position. So I really want to focus on pushing the floor away, staying active through those shoulders the entire time, and really working on keeping that neck position. So we don't want to lose our neck. We want to keep our neck. So we want to roll those shoulders, those lats around the body like they're giving us a big hug. Now, as a quick recap, we have a lot of little rotation work, a lot of hamstring stuff here, so take advantage. Dynamic triangle, 3 to 5 aside. Good morning at 3 to 5. Single leg good morning with rotation, 3 to 5 per side. And a plank to down dog for 3 to 5. 1 to 2 rounds, you're going to take that down nice and smooth, getting that body feeling good. Pause the video, rock that. We're going to move into some skills that are going to get you fired up for what's to come in the workout. All right. Second half of our work set, getting ourselves ready to go. We're going to kickstart off with the deadlift. So the deadlift is a beautiful movement that works that hinge pattern we worked on in that good morning and single leg good morning with rotation. We don't do a lot of rotation in the deadlift, but that rotation prep is good if we end up losing position at any point in our deadlifts. So what we're thinking about doing is standing over top of our dumbbell. So I have 1 dumbbell to demo with, but you can do this with 2. And we're going to hold it to the outside edge of the body if we're using 2, and I'll show you those positions. We're going to stand in that sumo position. I'm going to draw my hips back like I did in my good morning. I'm going to take my hips and shoulders down towards the dumbbell so I can grab hold. Then I'm going to push through those legs, standing tall and open. Now from profile, we get that same position in that sumo deadlift. I draw the hips back in that good hinge. I lower my hips and shoulders down to the floor or wherever I feel comfortable, maintaining that back position. So you don't have to opportunity or challenge to take that dumbbell to the floor position. So again, in the sumo, drawing back to the knee, lowering down to wherever I can maintain the position, standing tall. Now with the conventional style, if I have two dumbbells, I'll hold the dumbbells to the outside. My feet are going to come narrower so they don't interfere with the dumbbells. I'm going to draw my hips back in the same hinge pattern. Then I'm going to lower down to where I can get my dumbbells to while maintaining that good position through my back. Now it's very important with that one that we're not tied to the idea of actually touching the floor necessarily on every rep, because if we do that and we lose position, we're going to put our back in a compromised position. So we want to make sure that we're really focusing on that good strong angle at the back and not going beyond that position. We have 3 to 5 deads. If you're using a single, maybe do 3 to 5 per side to get yourself ready for what's to come in the work set. After that, we're going to lay on the floor, and we're going to use our dumbbell or whatever we have at home that we can use as an anchor. So I'm going to lay on the floor with a nice reach. So my arm is going to be extended out overhead. I'm going to hold on to the dumbbell by the bells. Now if I have a couch or something I can tuck my fingers under to use as an anchor or to press against, I can. I could even use, if I have 2 dumbbells, tuck my fingers under the handle to use as an anchor as well. I'm going to activate against the dumbbell almost like I was going to lift it over top of my chest, but I'm not going to try and lift it off the ground. I'm going to push into it so my armpits set and point towards the sky, and I'm going to pull my ribs in. I'm going to walk my feet up so I'm in that little kind of almost bridge position, and then I'm going to keep my feet together, my knees together, my low back into the floor, and I'm going to pull my knees into my chest. This is my tuck position. From here, I'm going to extend to the sky into my laying L. So I'm going to hold these toes together, press into the dumbbell, pull my ribs in, and I'm going to hold this laying L position to build that strength in my L set. Now from here, I want you to imagine that you're on the bar, hanging in a hanging L position. Because what we're looking for there is a really good activation through the shoulders, through the ribs, and then that hip activation to get yourself into that L. If the L position is too much, you can hold the tuck instead, but what we're looking for still is maintaining that shoulder, maintaining that core position. These are tougher than people think, so please give yourself the dose that you need, 20 to 30 seconds. If it's too long, small little bite-sized chunks, and accumulate that time with that good position, because position is everything. Now, after we have that laying L set, we're going to stand up tall, and we're going to work on getting those hips and body ready. So we're going to do some step-ups and some dumbbell standing lunge. All right, if you have a box at home and you're getting ready to do some box jumps today, this is a nice prep for the box jumps as well, because it's going to start getting you used to the height of the box or whatever you have to jump on. If you don't have an apparatus, I'll show you the dumbbell standing march in a moment, but what we're looking at here with this lovely step up is standing nice and tall, one foot comes up, pushing through that leg, coming to full extension, and then lowering with control. And then we're just going to switch back and forth. I'm going to alternate, taking it at whatever pace I would like to take it at for 30 seconds. So I'm just working on getting some good steps in with good control. I'm not trying to crush my soul here. I'm just trying to get into a good rhythm to start waking up those legs and, like I say, work on hitting that height and used to being that height that I might be jumping on later on. If I don't have an apparatus I'm comfortable stepping on, I can grab my dumbbells that I'm deadlifting with, hold nice and strong through the body, and work on that standing march as I work on isolating the legs while holding that upper body still and static. So we're nice and strong through that upper torso, and we're working on maintaining that nice, still, tall posture as we move those legs up and down. Now, as you continue going with this work set, make sure that you're starting to kind of incorporate the box jump or that vertical power jump in place of these step-ups in dumbbell standing march as your warm-up starts to progress closer to the workout, so you're getting ready for jumping and not just setting with the steps. If you're doing a stepping variation in today's workout, continue with the steps so you're getting your body ready for what's to come in the workout. After the step-ups, what we're going to take on is a weighted dead bug. So I'm going to lay on my back, beside one of my dumbbells. And you can choose to do this loaded or not, but I'm gonna get similar position that I was set up with in that laying L. I'm gonna get myself set up like I was gonna do a bridge. I'm gonna pull my ribs in. I'm gonna get the dumbbell up over my shoulders and chest. So I'm gonna pull my ribs in, push the dumbbell to the ceiling. I'm gonna pull my feet up off the floor in this 90-90 at the hip and knee. In this 90-90, I'm either going to lower the leg down with a bent knee, or I'm going to lower the leg down with a straight leg. And slowly go back and forth, maintaining that tight, solid position in my midsection. Now, it's not important if the leg is straight or bent. What's more important is maintaining that good tight position and not having any space with your low back in the floor. If you go to extend that leg super long and try and go straight, and all of a sudden your low back lifts up off the ground, we don't want to go that far because we want to focus on that task at hand, which is keeping that low back in contact with the floor. So take your time with those. This is a better movement to go slow with. Slower the better. You'll get more out of that exercise. Quick recap, we have our dumbbell or barbell deadlift, 3 to 5. We have our laying L-sit, 20 to 30 seconds. Step up or standing march for 30 seconds. Weighted dead bug for 6 to 10 alternating reps. And then we have a 2 to 3 round kind of takedown of that, substituting movements in there as we get closer to our workout. I'll also have a practice round on this work set too, so check that out if you'd like to check that out to see where you want to play with to get yourself really finalized and ready for the workout. Pause it, rock it, come back to me, and I'm going to talk to you about the workout. All right, everyone, we've made it to the workout and or practice round. What the workout entails is 6 rounds via of 6 reps, which we're going to talk about right away. Deadlift for 9, which we talked about in quite good depth in our earlier warm-up. So if you need some points of performance for that, check that out, scroll back, check those things out. Keeping in mind, you can use 1 dumbbell, 2 dumbbells, a barbell if you have it, whatever you'd like to deadlift today, rock that today for 9. Box jump for 12 or a box jump equivalent. We'll talk about a couple of those as we get to it. But let's kickstart off with the V-up. So our V-up today, we have multiple options for the V-up, and we want to make sure that we're not sticking to just one. We want to make sure we get a nice dose of a bunch of these throughout our workouts. Pick one for this workout, but make sure you're alternating through a few if you're playing around with your different V-up options. Now our V-up, we have 2 variations of the full V. Straight legs, I come down, I come up, meeting my legs in the middle, trying to get that upper body and lower body together. If 2 legs is a little bit too much, we can do a single leg V-up, working on meeting that leg at that hip crease. So trying to join the upper body and lower body at that hip crease. Now a very similar variation with bent legs is our tuck up. So we can do that as well with 2 legs coming into that meeting point, or a single leg meeting at that hip, trying to get that upper and lower body working together. With this, if you're like, okay, I struggle with getting both halves of my body working together at the same time. That's fine. We have another option for you that includes the hollow up. So we're going to pull the rib and the belly button together, and we're going to hollow that body out, lifting both hands and feet just a little bit off the floor. And this is all about timing so that both upper and lower body move together. If 2 legs, 2 arms is a little bit much, you can do a single leg variation, working on that same focus on getting both the upper and the lower moving at the same time. Now, if you have trouble with just getting the upper body going, we have 2 variations. One of which is a little bit more slow. It's a little static movement. We're going to get ourselves up into that laying L position. My hands are going to reach towards my toes. I'm going to pull my sternum and belly button together, try to touch my toes, coming back down. Rolling up, coming back down. And we're not using any momentum in getting that body up. So I don't want you to worry about how high you get up towards your toes. I just want you to really focus on bringing that compression in, that sternum to belly button. Now our last one is very dynamic. So we have our straight body, straight arms. I Come up, swinging those arms, touching those toes, touching, and touching. So I'm really working nice and smoothly with that nice smooth momentum, that flow with those arms, and touching those toes as far down as I can. So I have that nice pike sit. So we have lots of options there. They all offer just a little bit different focus, and they all offer really good core engagement. I got a little burn going already from just demoing a couple reps of each, but they all offer just a nice little piece. Neither is better nor worse. They're just a little bit different, and they're all very valid in building a nice complete core repertoire. Now, after our 6 V-ups, we talked about the deadlifts already, but with the deadlift, if you are using a single dumbbell, you are just going to alternate work. So you're going to split the work up between one hand and then the other hand, and you're just going to work on a total count of 9. So don't worry about doubling the reps, don't worry about that. You're just going to work on a total count of 9, then move into those jumps. The jumps we have a box jump and a couple different variations. So, box jump. I walk up to my apparatus and get myself ready. I get myself in that power position. Knees going slightly out, hands going back. Drive and stand, step down. Stand tall, step down. Now if we don't have something I'm comfortable jumping on, we talked about the step up. You can work on the step up, alternating for 12, and or you can work on the lateral step or hop over. So working on going side to side for a total count of 12. These are potent, so don't sell them short. They can say hello very quickly, going back and forth in that lateral position. You might want to stay a little lower than you normally would if you were going to jump or do a normal step up. Now, if you don't have an apparatus to use, you can work on a few different other pieces. You can work on our vertical power jump, which is that lovely power jump where we get into that power position, extend violently upwards, and then rebound. So it looks like so. And rest. So I did 3 there. I am breathing heavy. They catch up, all right? So the big thing is we have 12 reps. If you're not comfortable with jumping, or if you're like, jumping, I like it, but it's not my favorite thing, small sets. 3 to 5 reps at a time, quick little sets, quick little breaks will get you going really well and take down those 12 really quickly. It's going to give you a really good cardio experience and a good burn in the quads. Now, if you like to play around with a different variation but still jump, you can work on our broad jump. So we still hit that power position, except we're going to jump forward. We're going to land in that power position, trying to land as soft and as smooth as we can. We want to absorb the impact, just like we would if we were doing a vertical power jump and or a box jump. We absorb into this power position to take a lot of pressure off the feet and the knees. So I'll have a couple different variations there for you on the bottom. Pick the one that you want to work on the most. Have fun with these jumps, you guys. I love jumping. I hope you do too, or you're starting to come around to jumping. I know it's tough sometimes, but it's a great way to explicit power. Right? Show off that power you guys build. So as a quick recap, we have 6 rounds, 6 V-ups or V-up option, deadlift for 9, 12 box jumps or the variation of box jump, repeat for 6 rounds, call it a day. As always, everyone, work for quality, have a ton of fun, and let's ring in the weekend the right way with some good hard work. See you tomorrow for our Saturday work set. Until then, have a great day. Bye, you guys.